From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport. And driven by Victor Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. It's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Welcome. Thank you for getting your pod on. Thank you for telling a friend about the Billified podcast. Kevin got eclipsed. Danny's here tonight. That was your joke. I stole your joke.
Yeah, he was the one blocking out the sun.
Now.
I heard.
Now. You know, he did come down to Innovative Field with me.
I saw that with your mom.
And my mom said behind Kevin's back, and it's a big back to say stuff behind.
Yeah.
He's a really good dad.
He is.
He's a really good dad.
He is a good dad.
He brought his kid down, and he was saying some things. My mom was laughing, and he had a great time. Did you get out of work, or did you have to?
Yeah, I was
out of work.
I was out of work briefly for the eclipse.
Did they let you they give you like prison yard time?
Yeah, exactly.
Prison yard time.
I got an hour.
You got an hour
to go out and.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got an hour to go check it out. Went to a friend's place and which is nearby.
Yeah.
And if you were on the road at that point. Like, I have to pass over the thruway, like one of those, to get to their house, those thruway overpasses.
Yeah.
There were, literally two cars on the thruway. There were no cars on the road. And we get there, and, the eclipse happens. And, of course, it's an overcast sky. And you just got a bunch of darkness, which kind of looked cool with, the sunlight in the background, and all the lights popping up.
Yeah.
Because, even the little, everybody's got these solar lights that when so those started popping on and then popped off, which is kind of funny in the middle of the afternoon when you realize it's like 3 o'clock.
Right.
But, after it's over, I'm like, I got to go back to work. So I go back to work. I'm like, you know what?
I felt like going to sleep.
Did you?
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I ended up taking a nap, too.
I didn't take
I ended up taking a nap.
I ended up bringing everything back here and setting up, going to my wine and cheese bar, and then out to JoJo's with my mom for dinner, and
So, but I ended up taking a nap because so I told myself, all right, Tuesday I start, eating seriously until Memorial Day.
Really? Eating seriously.
Yeah.
Now, what would eating seriously be?
Means no sugar.
Okay.
No sugar.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, since I'm out for the eclipse, I might as well get some ice cream one last time.
Yeah, one last time.
So I go to DQ.
Eclipse your diet.
Yeah, eclipse cream. Right? Dude, man, the cars were coming out of nowhere. It's like everybody got on the road. And all of a sudden, it's like traffic. People are cutting each other off.
Really?
And stuff. Now, I don't know. I think it's just because everybody had somewhere they all of a sudden had to be.
Yes.
At a party they had to go to. But all of a sudden, everybody's getting out. And
now, was there anything biblical about this?
Nothing biblical.
Nothing biblical.
There was one. If you're on Instagram, I'm not on much social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm only on just to see what clips are. It's all right. Nobody does care. I don't post anything.
Fucking with you.
But I don't really post anything anyway.
Yeah.
Except on Twitter. And nobody pays attention to that either.
Yeah, right.
But somebody posted that the last time there was an eclipse in the United States, it went from west to, a lot like this one. It went from east to west, and a bunch of towns called Salem were in the path of the eclipse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this time, a bunch of towns called Nineveh were in the direction of the eclipse. Where those two paths cross is a town called Rapture.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. The Bible never talks about the United States, which is really scary. Because if you're still here, during end times, that's not going to be fun. Yeah. So there's really nothing biblical about it at all, actually. But there are some people who tried to make it sound, and it's like, well, we're still here.
I had an epiphany during that whole thing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I really did. I really found this to be very moving, and I said it yesterday on the podcast, and I might have said it a little harshly, but I think that I stood there and I watched this and I went, everything we have been told, everything we have been taught about life is completely wrong. Completely wrong.
Okay.
I think that the Bible, and you'll disagree with this, has been misinterpreted. I think that the translations through the years, I think the idea that you have to sacrifice, that life is hard, that you have to do all this is completely wrong. And I really felt that watching this because I go, oh my gosh, we're all coming out to watch this celestial event. None of us did anything to make it happen. None of us. So clearly there's a greater intelligence. call it God, call it source, whatever you decide. But the earth is spinning, the moon, all this stuff. It's all going on. And we're all caught up in our own minuscule drama. And I went, holy crap. I think that everything, well, like you come here to planet Earth, and I think the only purpose is to live and be happy. I really do. As I'm watching this, because I go, everything you need is already here. You don't have to truck anything in from another planet. You don't have to bring it anywhere. Everything you need is already here. Everything. You're not starting over. It's completely evolving. You're picking up where we left off. Mm-hmm. You know, babies born today are picking up where we left off, right? They're going to grow up in a world with all kinds of technology that we never had. They'll see technology we probably won't.
Yeah, they won't have to fiddle with an antenna to watch a game.
Yeah.
It's the fourth quarter.
Hey, Dad, get on the roof. Hey, can you hear it? Can you see it now? Can you see it now? God damn it. You know,
did you pull a magnet in front of the TV again?
Like all that stuff. So I'm just thinking like, so I was like, wow. And I go, everything you need is here. And I was like, I felt like in that moment, I go, hang on a second. It's all done for you. It's all done. It's pretty much all done. And then when you get here, you get to choose. And you get to choose through life how you do things. But we condition people to gotta work hard, gotta do this. And we don't encourage people to follow their dreams and just be happy in all this. All that shit you sent me.
Well, actually,
all that stuff you sent me yesterday.
The old people?
The old people on Twitter being interviewed. And I think I still have a couple of them here. Let me just see.
Did Doug date any of them?
No.
Oh, okay.
How old are you?
95.
What's your secret for looking so great at 95?
Being up always, not being negative.
Right, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all that stuff, I was like, oh my God, that you sent that just as I was really thinking all day about the eclipse and all this stuff, and I go, man, we get caught up in all the minutia, and we get mad, and we spin, and we do. I mean, it is literally what Shakespeare said. You are but a player on a stage to strut and fret your hour, and then to be heard no more. And I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying it exactly the way Shakespeare did, but that's basically the thing. Like you come out here, you huff, you puff, you bluster, you do this, and then poof, you're gone. And it's like, I go, well, yeah, but you just come here and enjoy. Do what you love to do and have that positive. I'm starting to believe that you can pretty much point at things and go, I want that. And I'm going to stay focused on that, and I'm going to do well. Because if you talk to anybody, like, let's just go to sports for a second, because that's where you live a little bit. Michael Jordan focused on being the best, just stayed focused. You know what I mean? And was the best. I'm not saying like everybody, as this lady who you're hearing says, stay positive. She said, my husband was very positive, and he didn't last as long as me. Right? He didn't live as long. So there's other factors that go into it. But I'm like, I think overall, we just live wrong. We live wrong. This idea that you've got to sacrifice and suffer and pay. I feel like the higher intelligence, God or whatever, it is nothing but benevolent love. You will never have a greater love than the love of Source, who put the moon in front of the sun the other day and did all this stuff that the earth is spinning at. You know, I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson on I don't know, my mother was in town. She left today, so I finally get a good night's sleep. I was sleeping on an air mattress. I'm buying a cot. An air mattress, I believe, is the leading cause of sleep deprivation in America, because they lose just a little bit of air at night, and then it becomes a goddamn core exercise as you try not to roll off that thing in the middle. You're like, whoa, and your stomach hurts.
I've slept on a few, yeah.
So I wound up on the couch last night. I'm like, I'm not doing that again. I'm like, I'm buying a cot. And the only reason, and somebody goes to me, well, you have 3 kids, you should buy a 2-bedroom. And I'm like, nobody's here. Nobody's here. I like where I live. It's fine. And when they come to visit, they come to visit. That's it. But anyway, that's just my thoughts.
So I'm going to surprise you a little bit. I think a lot of what you're saying is actually biblical.
Yes, it is, because it's there, because he was trying to teach you all the stuff.
So
and then
you have to
got a hold of it like the Catholics and ruined it all.
God, I'll blame the Catholics anytime you want. But God is eternity past and eternity present, and he is full of mercy. He is full of grace.
Yes.
He is full of love, which is why Jesus came in the first place. Because as I once read, if God were just a God of judgment, his judgment would have killed you last night. You wouldn't have woken up this morning. And every day you wake up is another chance, another day, another opportunity. And if you're living a sanctified life through Christ, do whatever you want.
Well, see, now
Do whatever you want.
Now, that's where you and I will differ slightly, because I think that your soul, you are part of that one consciousness, that one thing. You are connected. So you are the higher intelligence inside you. But when you come here, it's a gift, and you have a choice to stress out, or, it gave me a whole new perspective on one of the things you and I always liked. Bill Hicks' final concert, where he says there's two things, love and fear. And there really is.
I have that memorized, actually.
And Bill Hicks was just a comic. Just a comic. But it was almost like he had this epiphany, this thing, because it's just love or fear. So what are you going to do? I always think that Jesus was of the pure light. Like you could come dripping your illness in front of him, and all he saw was the real you, the true you inside that. He didn't see all that negativity. He just saw the pure love. And I think that same thing that put the moon, that is the pure love for you. And that's the only thing. And if you can just relax a little bit, stop stressing so much, and just take a breath and have fun. If you think about this, everybody, I always say this, even to my kids and stuff, think about this. Has not everything in your life worked out for you? And I think if you change, I'm starting to believe like you come here and it is a mirror, and whatever you're thinking, you get. You ever have this where you go, totally saw that coming. Fucking knew it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fucking knew it. I could see. Yeah, because you set the expectation.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs. I knew it.
The expectation. No, but I'm saying in your own life, when let's say bad things. Because my mom said to me today, you'd have a hard time telling some people that who have lost a child, who've lost this, that, and I go, I can't explain some of those things. You were right, but because my mother said to me, well, what do you say about getting old? Like, she goes, I want the body of a 20-year-old, because I go, I think you can just get to the world where you can sort of point, you can have or be or do anything you want. And she said, well, I want the body of a 20-year-old. I can't have it. I said, well, I think that as you go on your journey, you're not meant to be here forever. You're not. You're not designed for that. This isn't that. Your eternal energy, just like eternal God, the energy will live forever, but the body will not. It's a little weird, but there is some crossover in the Bible.
I understand that. I mean, I'd like to pick where I end up, not hell.
See, I don't think there is any of that. I think there's pure bliss.
Here's why. Because everybody gives themselves the benefit of the doubt, but deep down, everyone's a douchebag. And everybody's a douchebag.
Wait.
Everyone's a douchebag, Billy.
What are you talking about?
Every person who's ever walked this planet, with the exception of Jesus Christ.
Well,
even people. No, he
douchebag.
wasn't a douchebag.
He
Billy.
got mad,
Billy.
and he killed a fig tree.
Yeah, because the tree, to make a point, it was his tree to kill to begin with. All right, he's God. Or when he flipped over the money changers because they were taking advantage of the Sabbath. The point is,
so
though.
What are you gonna say?
No, the point is that,
everybody's a douchebag. I don't understand.
Everybody, because we're all we're all just good people, like the Joel Osteen's theory. 99.9% people are good people. Well, no, we're actually not good people. We make mistakes all the time. And I'm not talking about just honest mistakes, purposeful mistakes. See, Bill Hicks, when he was talking about, when he gave that whole speech, he was talking about the people. The life is like a ride on a roller coaster.
Yes.
And the people who come back and tell us it's just a ride are the people that everybody else wants to kill, because they have so much invested in that ride to keep everybody shut up so they could go and enjoy their pleasures and gain more power, right? And ultimately, at the end of the day, we are all people who, you give us a little bit of power, and then you want a little bit more, and then you want a little bit more,
right,
and then before you know it, it infringes on somebody else. And it doesn't have to be you don't have to be a leader of a corporation. You could just be Joe Blow on the street.
I hear what you're saying a little bit here.
We're all self-centered. We're all selfish.
Well, but we should be. That I would argue to the point that we should be. I think being selfish is okay, within moderation. You can't be good for anybody else unless you're good for you. Take that shitty mood and go and try to interact with your wife. Take that shitty mood that had nothing to do with her and go interact with her. And how does that go?
It's not going to work well.
Okay, so now be in a great mood for whatever reason and take that same energy, and she's in a shitty mood. And
lift her up.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Maybe, but don't meet her there, because because her happiness is not your responsibility. And I think that's something that I think a lot of us do. I even said last night, I think there's a lot of times where people confuse emotions. That was something I was thinking about. Like, we think worrying about somebody means we love them. No, I don't believe you can worry and love at the same time. You can worry and you can love. Because when you worry about somebody, you feel different. When you love them, you feel different. You feel different than worry, don't you? So you can't do the two things at the same time. But we confuse that in our language and in our mind. And so to me, I hear what you're saying is, and what I took Bill Hicks' thing as, and we should play it, and I didn't grab it, but I will, is that there are people that, you're right, that don't come back and tell us this, because if you do, you're going to upset the apple cart, because we're all about the drama and we're about making more money and we need these people to work. And I even said to my mother, I'm starting to believe the conspiracy theorists who have, and I don't know that it was really a conspiracy, but people said that schools were designed to make you factory workers.
Yes.
So you were designed, and I went...
Like Nelson Rockefeller said, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers.
So I thought, okay, so there's part of the thing, and pure freedom, like all the money in the world is not, what is it really? It's freedom. It's complete freedom. You get to choose and do whatever you kind of want to, where you want to go, how you want to go there, all that stuff. But it's available to everybody. You just have to tune in. And I really think it is all about vibration and where is your head. And when you get yourself in a bad spot, think of how shitty you feel and how that compounds. And all of a sudden it's one thing after another, because that momentum gets going. And the only way to stop it is to go to sleep, or something that most people won't do, but maybe meditation. Prayer sometimes keeps you on that track, I would say. Completely emptying your mind does not, because you're not thinking about anything. Harder to do. It's
very hard to keep your mind on nothing.
Yes,
it really is. I'm not being facetious.
No, it is. It's very hard.
Yeah.
That's why I would say to people, if you're beginning to meditate or something and you really want to try it, listen for a sound that has no emotional connection for you. The buzzing of lights, the hum of a fan, the air conditioner, something like that. And just...
Kevin breathing.
Yeah, oh, God. Oh, my God. It's like Darth Vader at times. I love my man, but I get worried about him.
Yeah, I know. Do we need a CPAP for when he's awake?
Anyway, this gets all too deep, and I hope it doesn't bore people, but it is an interesting thing to me as you watch that, because I go, boy, not that we're insignificant, because somebody goes, I could show you the insignificance of life. No, what it shows you is all of this was designed for you. For you.
Yeah.
And I believe at some point, your energy chose to be here. You and God had a conversation, and you went. And then you get here, and everybody goes, you got to sacrifice. You got to work hard. You got to blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying not to work hard, but I'm saying go where the bliss is. Like, I really, really believe that.
Sacrifice has already been made.
Yes.
It's your opportunity to take it or leave it.
Yes, exactly. But we do this thing where we've got to, sacrifice for this one, and you got to give up this, and you can't give up that. Well, hold on a second. Okay, there are things that, what's going to make you feel better? Is eating a gallon of ice cream going to make you feel better? You're going to be shitting your brains out the next 3 days.
You never feel great afterward.
No, I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. So all things in moderation. We learn that as we go, but you're never going to get it. You never get it wrong. I don't believe you ever get it wrong, and I don't think you ever get it done. And it's always just continuing on.
Yeah, sanctification is a lifelong process.
And I also think that whatever is already happening right now, that's old news.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But all you have is now, the moment. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you got. This is it. Right here. Right now. That's all. That's it. So in this moment, you have a choice of things to do. Whatever one excites you the most, go and do it to the fullest as the best you can, and don't worry about the consequences. It'll all work out.
Yeah.
And that's really how I thought of all
So
this.
you had this epiphany like yesterday?
Standing on the warning track, watching it all.
Yeah.
That was really what I thought. And I was excited to talk to you about it because I thought there were some biblical things. And biblical. I don't mean biblical. I mean of a godly, where we could agree on things.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Not that we disagree.
No, I understand. I read something, and you got to be careful when you see, videos that come across your screen on Instagram or YouTube.
Really?
Because
Why,
Billy.
You believe in stuff?
Yeah, they're not all true, Billy.
Stuff?
They're not all true.
Really? Is that it?
No, the
What's
stuff.
the
No,
Dan?
it's not a conspiracy.
I want conspiracy Dan. Every Thursday we need to end with Dan's latest conspiracies to watch for.
Yeah, right. Well,
Conspiracy Watch with Dan Barillo.
I really haven't focused on much of those right now. But there was somebody posted something about they've gone over all the solar eclipses in history.
Yeah.
And they think that on April 3rd, around either 33 or 36 AD, if you go through NASA's website, and I don't know how they did this, so that's why you got to be careful because you can't just take it at face value. They believe that Jesus was crucified, and that was also the Bible talks about the sky turning black in Jerusalem at that point for a few minutes. Now, they believe that perhaps whoever wrote this says they think that there was a solar eclipse on the day that Christ was crucified.
Could be.
Okay, so that may be, that everything is divinely orchestrated, that you could look at this as a divine orchestration.
Well, it is a divine orchestration.
We
I
don't
think the fact that the planet moves every day, I started to say, like Neil deGrasse Tyson's talking about how fast the Earth spins. And who does that?
That if somebody hit the brakes, we'd all go flying through, and we'd be dead.
But the point is, have you gotten up and worried about that?
No.
Okay.
The world's still going. Yeah. Sun still comes up.
You got it.
Tides go in and out.
All right. So let's take a
You're always
little bit of a
eat.
break. It's all done for you.
Yep.
It's all done for you.
Yes.
Just go. Let's not be an asshole to each other. Let's not do that. You can
look after each other.
I think being a little self-centered is okay because you got to take care of yourself before you can go interact and be good for anybody else.
Right.
And sometimes you have to do things even when you don't want to. Your kids need to eat.
I had a lot of vegetables today.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy, but I did. Take care of myself.
I can't. No, you're not.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear about this shit diet you're going to try.
I'm just eliminating
sugar. I'm not going to eat any sugar.
And I'm having more fermented foods like kombucha and stuff like that to help take care of my gut health.
Okay, good. All right, take care of your gut.
I want to lose at least 10 pounds by Memorial Day.
By Memorial Day.
I think that's a safe goal.
Okay. I think it's a very safe goal.
So I keep it there.
I'm going to do everything I can
to stop me. Yeah, crumble cookies every day. You and Kevin getting pizza from TK's. Oh man, look at this.
I got a call because it just reminded me of
Daddy, this is delicious.
Last night on the podcast, I was
4 cheeses.
Doug was in here, and Doug was talking about his set at the comedy club when he was doing the Greg Owens comedy show.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me something about they asked me how much time I was going to do, and he said I was going to do 14 minutes. And he's like, they all kind of flipped out on him, and it's like, well, you said 10 to 12. And I go, Doug, when you're new, you got to do the allotted time. Right, the allotted time of what you're going to do. I said, but if you go over, no one's really going to kill you on it because sometimes there's some crowd work or something that happens. And if they light you from the back, you just know to move on. But when you're the new guy to comedy, you got to follow their rules for a while, just like any job, just like anywhere you've been.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes, make it the best fucking 10 minutes they've ever heard. You know what I mean? Just keep it tight. So I said, and then so I told the story about emceeing a show where Bobby Slayton was in many years ago, the old Comics Cafe. And I get a call from the comedy club, and they go, hey, listen, it's Mark Ippolito goes, hey, one thing I got to call bullshit on. You didn't do 17 minutes in front of Bobby Slayton. And I said, I did. And I said, I wasn't bragging last night. My point to Doug was that was terrible. I should have never, I didn't know I did it until Joe T pulled me aside in the back and was like, hey, man. And he's like, Slayton would have ripped you apart, blah, blah. I go, well, at the time, I mean, like Brother Wease had a lot of influence.
Yeah.
He had a lot of influence. And so you were under that umbrella because I was producing
his show. He was kind of like the Carson of Rochester in the way, like, if you got to sit on his couch, people are going to come see you.
Well, I was, exactly, but I was also on his show, producing his show. Yeah. So Slayton was cool. And Slayton was always nice to me, even after that. Bobby came on this podcast. Bobby would come on every radio show I had done. He wouldn't come on with me and Tommy, but he would talk to us and explain why, out of loyalty to Weeds, which I always thought was cool. But he always talked to me. Like, I could call Bobby and we'd have a conversation. So there was that cool thing. But it was like, I can't believe that. And I said, well, my point was, you got to follow the rules. You got to follow the rules. But you were bringing up sabotaging people's diets. That's why I went off on this tangent.
Oh, okay.
Because we used to sabotage people's diets all the time. Sally from the old Wee show, she would want egg whites and blah, blah, blah. So Joe T would call down and
you guys, well, first of all, you guys would get like free Dunkin' Donuts every morning, right?
Yeah, but this was in the building. We would pay for our own breakfast. There was a restaurant in the building. Yeah. So he would call downstairs.
She was very particular about her breakfast.
She wanted egg whites and whole wheat toast and, no butter, blah, blah. So Joe T would call down and go, extra butter on the egg whites, blah, blah, blah. And then Sally would get it. She'd go, oh, my God, these are the best egg whites I've ever had. And we'd all be like the meanest shit, right? I mean, like that Jack Garner and JJ, two people who are no longer on the planet in that physical form. Chami took Hershey Kisses and splayed them out. We watched their heads bonk as two fat guys. I couldn't breathe. You thought the eclipse was something? That was fucking amazing. Two big fat guys, heads going boom as they're going for the same candy was unbelievably priceless. Like I couldn't. All right, we will take a moment. When we come back, the cost of things, Danny, going way up.
I see that.
Yeah, lots. I didn't realize how much we're paying, how much more we're paying for things. But we'll give you some of the price stuff, and then I want you to think about this. If you could permanently freeze one thing at $1, the price is $1. What would that one thing in your life be that you could freeze at $1?
Oh, okay.
We'll get to that next, but first.